Why did the president disappear from the much hyped official launch of the rollout of the Social Health Authority from the NHIF? Today, the 1st of October, the 60-year-old NHIF health scheme was going to be, was coming to an end as the country ushers the Social Health Authority as the custodian of, as the scheme, as the national scheme for universal health coverage, a project that William Ruto has really touted as a game changer in health financing. To the surprise of many, the president is disappeared from the official launch of that event. Health CS is fumbling to explain. And that incident of president skipping is happening in a context. Since William Ruto arrived in the country, he's been avoiding the public. I want us to look at the complex fate of Ruto in the Rigathi impeachment. Before that, since Saturday midday, I reached out to members of this channel, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the 8-year-old baby Becky, who was diagnosed, who was actually hospitalized for 1.5 years. She was born with the cerebral palsy. So she had convulsions last year in April, rushed to Kenyatta Hospital, and had been in the hospital for 1 year and 6 months. Through that, went ICU, came out, but lost eyesight. Now she's a bit stable and could now be put under home-based care, but an outstanding bill of 200,000 was pending. Deep from my heart, I want to say thank you. We will be able to cover Becky's bill with only a deficit of 9,000. I believe 2 or 3 people, if you can be able to get that, I'm rushing to bank. I will rush to bank immediately. We are done so that we can deposit and Becky be discharged from Kenyatta Hospital. So apart from this, and of course apart from that bill, there is some 5,000 that is spent, that family are supposed to spend weekly on anticonvulsants. People who deal with children with cerebral palsy really understand the anticonvulsants. And that has really telling you that we've really taken a toll of this. I'm just so happy. And I want to say, may God bless you in a special way. Because we were just coming from Kilifi. So this matter of Becky came to my attention. It was brought to my attention by one of our subscribers here, Margaret, about Becky, the child to Michael Kamau. And yes, because it was the child, I think I said, let us take it. And I'm just so glad we've pulled the deficit of 9,000. I believe that we are done. Now, I want us to look at this incident of Ruto. He silently jetted back in the country from New York trip and has been silent about Rigathi impeachment. The official ceremony of the launch of Shah from SHIF was low-key. The president skipped, the deputy president skipped, while this is one of the flagship projects, initiative that William Ruto spent better time in 2023 explaining to the country why NHIF was corrupt and NHIF had been riddled with dubious claims from private hospitals. And so he made a pitch to the public, to Kenyans, that the best thing that the country that they would do is to drop NHIF and give birth to Shah. But on that official launch, the president is not there. And listen to the minister, CS for Health, fumbling to explain SHA. If you want to know, we are in for a disaster.
12 months. So that is what we envision, that every month they will be able to deduct from what you're getting. So it will be almost similar to the people who are employed. Now, the means testing...
Where are you deducting from?
Deduct from where the woman works in my shamba.
Because the lady who is working in my 5 shamba and is earning that much, how are you going to deduct it?
It will be similar to the Hustlers Fund.
How?
It will be fully alone. It's a kind of...
But 0% interest.
How will you deduct it?
From a person. Or how?
Yes.
You know, the cruelness in you answering the question is not the sole one thing.
Order, honorable, correct. Please, CS, how are you going to deduct that money? You can explain to Kenyans so that they know how the money is going to be deducted. Through M-Pesa, through what?
So the
Order, Chairman Shah. This is, the CS has not given you the permission to speak. It was the CS who we wanted to understand. How is the money going to be deducted for somebody who is informal? And we want the banding. How are you going to do those bands?
Yes.
How have you categorized them? That this category will pay this much, this category will pay this much. We just want that flow.
Yes, for Ministry of Education, the challenge was the bands were larger, but for us, the bands are smaller. And that is why...
Which are, just explain what's that banding, what are the bands you have?
So we will give you the report for the bands, but what I can assure you is the accuracy is 95%. With the low band, and we are able to...
Orders, yes.
Yes.
We want you to give us the bands. Yeah? We want you to give us. I'm giving you the opportunity. Because Kenyans are listening. They want to see their cabinet secretary for health telling them that when you are in this, we are going to categorize you based on this means testing.
She can't explain. Really fumbling with it. And this points to what we normally say in this channel. That sometimes we might have very good idea. But if it is rushed and not well thought out, because the Kenya Kwanza have a syndrome of just rushing things for optics so that they can find something to go on top of car and speak about. SHA is one of the is a good scheme, but rushed and not well thought out. As I was just explaining to you, it has 3 components: primary health care, which is fully funded by government. We have the social health insurance fund, which is members' contribution 2.5%, those informal employment, and also 2.7% for those from the informal sector, depending on how much you earn. And then there is chronic and critical illness, KITI, which is also supposed to be funded by government. Believe me, the first cluster of primary health care was supposed to be 50 billion. Government only injected 2 billion. The critical aspect, critical or chronic illness, the government was supposed to pump 75 billion through an act of parliament. As we speak to you, we are rolling that, and only 4 billion has been pumped. There is a problem. If you also realize that Kenyans are being told to register afresh, even if you had your contributions, you already had a contract with NHIF, there seems to be a request that you need to register afresh. So Kenyans are asking, why is it transition? Why don't that data, that NHIF just gives that data so that those Kenyans who have been paying? But of course you'll understand that someone is asking, let's audit NHIF now, how much is remaining there? How much are we carrying from NHIF to SHA? Because even if you're paying 500, now things have changed. And now you have to give your details afresh, because you'll be given 2.5% of your pay. Now, this event was very crucial for President Ruto. But President Ruto is avoiding public appearance as the population sees the shadow of the president in Rigathi's impeachment. And let me say this. In spite of the push by 2 p.m., the impeachment is going to be there. By the way, even Kenya Kwanza MPs are fumbling to explain what is the real thing behind that deal, really puzzles many.
Probably collapsed.
Yes.
What is the role of the president in this impeachment?
There is no role of the president whatsoever. The role of impeaching a deputy president.
So who told you the marriage has collapsed?
Is in the Constitution. The presidency is when the presidency, and that is why, in my view, is extremely urgent. When the presidency is unstable, it is a matter of national security. When you have a deputy president who has criticized every organ,
who
has
told
criticized
you,
the judges,
who told you the marriage has collapsed?
Even, first of all, divulging information, secret information to the public.
How did you know that?
Is against the Constitution. To going on a rant against a Director General of National Intelligence Service, going on a rant against the judges of this country, going on a rant against members of parliament. He has
this marriage you're talking about is marriage for who?
It's the presidency. The presidency is a national...
The president and the deputy president.
That's what I said.
Right?
Yes.
Who told you the marriage has collapsed?
The deputy president himself yesterday.
No.
When he
was not written yesterday.
When he was hosted on a talk show, just confirmed what you are saying.
I'm not asking about the confirmation. I'm asking you, who told you the marriage between the president and the deputy
the other week on Sunday, okay? And even when he was in Lamu with an Air Force plane, he himself said that there is an issue. And he explained himself, and he said that there is an issue.
So if there is an issue, the solution is to impeach.
That is not a solution. Sam, you are putting me to Q and R situation. I have enumerated why we are going. There's a motion.
And I had your right.
And it's on record. I am not the mover.
But
I said
you have said the marriage between the president and the deputy has collapsed.
Precisely.
Parties to a marriage are the ones that know if it has collapsed or not.
Unless you don't live in Kenya.
No, I live in Kenya.
Yes.
Who told you the marriage has collapsed?
First of all, number one, as a member of parliament, I see so many things that happen. I know when it has collapsed and when it has not. It is evident.
Even if you're not party to that marriage.
It is evident. It is evident. He even himself yesterday said he only does what is allowed.
Again, Honorable Koech, what is the role of the president in this?
There's no role of the president.
The deputy president said there can never be an impeachment motion succeeding in parliament if the president does not have a hand in it.
That is an insult to members of parliament. In fact, he went further to say that we had been paid 5 million. That is an insult to members of parliament.
Has there been any payment?
We have our minds, we have our brains. We know when to apply them.
Has there been any payment?
Payment for what?
I don't know.
Why will anyone be paid to do their constitutional mandate? Unless I was doing something that is out of my mandate, I will demand a pay. But if it is my mandate to impeach a deputy president, and it is not the first, impeachment has happened. Even in the National Assembly.
It has not been to the level of the presidency.
That's what I'm saying, but it has happened. Impeachment is impeachment. It is only that we have raised the threshold. In fact, Sam, by the way, you should be extremely happy that for the first time in the history of this country, our oversight role is being exercised.
Okay.
It's being demonstrated that members of parliament can actually even go to the president. Those are the checks that members of parliament must have.
So, Honorable Koech, Honorable Ochieng, finally.
Now, some Gituko was asking, and he could not explain. Mtu anajikoroga tu kwa hiyo maneno. Someone is not very clear about it. Rigathi has outrightly come out to blame the president's handlers, and has also gone in media and asking the Rift Valley that they are the last to impeach him. He's taken it. He's gone out and spoken to the people, and I think after realizing that, after even media realized that the country was paying attention to that impeachment, and the government side, the president and the majority leader and others were not willing to appear for interviews to defend their position on Rigathi impeachment, Rigathi got away with the population.
President William Ruto na wananchi wa Kenya, au watu wengine wako karibu na rais, hapana bosi yangu, ati kama personal assistant yake anataka kunipangia kazi yangu, wewe enda fali, wewe usema hii enda na huyu, siwezi kubali. Na hapo ndio kumekuwa na shida ya wale watu ambao wamezunguka rais, wanafikiria hao ni bosi yangu. mawaziri wako karibu na rais, anafikiria anaweza niongelesha vile anataka, ama anisomee mimi, ama anipangie kazi yangu. Mimi ni deputy president, nimechaguliwa na kura na wananchi, na mimi niko na bosses wawili. President William Ruto ni boss yangu, kile chochote aniambia nifanye mimi nafanya. Hata akitaka kunisomea anisomee, akitaka kunikemea anikemee, ni boss yangu, nitakubali. Boss mwingine ni wa Kenya, wakiniambia tusikize ground, mimi nasikiza ground. Lakini siwezi kubali ile, siwezi kubali mimi. Ni watu wako hapo karibu na rais wanajifanya wao ni watu wakubwa sana, ati wanataka kunipangia kazi, wanataka kuniambia vile nitafanya. Utatembea na fulani, uenda hapa, sijui usifanye hii, sijui rudishia huyu, bwana watu wamezungumza hii na huku jibu, na ni watu tu wako hapo karibu na rais. Hiyo ndio nimekataa. Wacha walete grounds, tusaangalia, tutajibu. Lakini unajua wengine wanajaribu, nimeona wengine wananisindikisha, sasa wabunge 300 wamesign, sasa wewe you are die cast, si ujiuzuru uende nyumbani. Sasa mimi nijiuzuru, hii kazi mimi sikujipea. Wewe kazi hujajipea, unaweza toka. Na mimi hakuna makosa nimefanya, mimi niko sawa. Kama kuna mtu anafikiria ataniuzia uoga ati nijiuzuru, asahau. Kama ni kunifukuza, wacha nifukuzwe. Na watu wa kwetu wanangoja wabunge wale wanifukuse. Wanangoja sana. Hiyo ndio wanangojea, hiyo ndio wanangojea. Hata hii ya mlima kwetu wakinifukuza, hiyo ni sawa, watu wetu watadili naye. Ile tu wanangojea ni wabunge wa Rift Valley.
Naibu wa rais, ni kurudisha nyuma kidogo uhusiano wako na president. Wakati mlichukua usukani, kuna ile executive order president aliweka akielezea kazi yako kama naibu wa rais.
Kabisa.
Haijawahi fanyika kwa muda mrefu.
Ndio.
Kuna uwezekano kwamba labda kuna mahali hujafanya kwa kazi yako kama naibu wa rais, ndiposa imeleta tofauti kati yako na president.
Wao rais ni open, hajaniita hata siku moja kunieleza kuna pahali ambaye kazi imeharibika. Kazi ile nimepewa mimi, nakuwa chairman wa kamati ya baraza la mawaziri. Tangu tuchukue ushukani nimesimamia mikutano 33 na tumefanya agenda 335 na tumepeleka yote kwa rais, na rais kila wakati anashukuru kamati yangu ya cabinet kwa kazi ambayo tunafanya. Mambo ya kusimamia ugatuzi, nimeleta uhusiano wa kipekee kati ya serikali kuu na maserikali ya ugatuzi. Hujasikia ile kelele ilikuweko wakati ya serikali ile iliyopita kati ya magavana na serikali kuu. Ni kazi mimi nafanya. Iko kazi nimepewa ya kukaa na marafiki zetu wa kigeni kuangalia zile donor funds ambaye zimekwama na kukuamua pahali imekwama. Hiyo kazi nimefanya, nimemaliza. Nimepewa na rais kazi ya kusimamia constitutional commissions na independent offices. Kulikuwa na shida ya Inspector General of Police na Police Service Commission, nikatatua. Kulikuwa na shida ya Teacher Service Commission na Ministry of Education, nikatatua.
And believe me, you take it. The Kenyan people are not fully buying the Rigathi impeachment. Only some few people that are working with emotions. Only, and it's true. Rigathi has been, if you listen to his previous clips, so full of himself, so full of power. But by that time, he was with the president, he was pleasing the president, and the president never disowned him. And if they were genuine, that shareholders that Rigathi said is amongst the grounds and the Mulema thing is amongst the things they want to remove him, then one thing they would have done is to ensure that this list of Kalenjins and Kikuyus that have been employed in government under the guise of shareholding, that list should be squashed and re-implement done. Because on one end, you are blaming Rigathi for isolating the region. But the president is appointing, government is full of those two communities in government. Who is the majority leader? Kikuyu. Budget Appropriation Committee, Kikuyu, Ndindi Nyoro. Chairman of Finance Committee, Kikuyu. The police IG, the police IG, Douglas Kanja, Kikuyu. Check that cabinet. They have retained the 7 slots. Check state appointments. They are still deep in it. So while we blame Rigathi for talking to us about it, it's not very true. And I think there is something that you can easily see. Rigathi has blamed Ruto's handlers, and if you listen even to this clip by Mijungu, and I just joined them that of Rigathi, you will understand why this impeachment is more complex than what the people of Kenya see. Very complex. And now next, I want to explain to you why Ruto is finding Rigathi impeachment very complex. It is more complex than what people can see, than what the media is writing, and what what supporters are yelling about. It is more complex because of this. The courts are watching, and no one is unaware of the court verdict on this. I have seen an attempt. They have even there was a time that Rigathi threatened, I think, spoke ill about one of the judges, Esther Maina, the judge who was hearing her case during Uhuru Kenyatta era. And in his impeachment, they've put that, and they've also put their attack on the NIS. But there is something that I kept on saying, that an elected leader that was at point elected by 7 million people, 200 people cannot go and sit in a room, even if the MPs that have that jurisdiction, to impeach him without public participation. You need to come back and ask the Kenyan public. And Rigathi seemed to be very confident about this. Now, Ruto knows that if it goes to court, if the judges, so long as impeachment cannot end in parliament, the parliament it goes to, of course, there was already an attempt to stop impeachment in court, and the Justice Lawrence Mugabe said, no, he was not able to stop it. And of course, someone might yell, I've seen people celebrating that court have said they can't stop. But they could be fattening Ruto for slaughter. He doesn't know. How about, and I've listened to some of these lawyers saying, that if you alter the presidency, we don't have this precedence of a deputy president being impeached since 2010, and someone might go to court to seek interpretation of that impeachment. What happens to the presidency? Is the president allowed to appoint someone? Because I don't know whether the Constitution envisioned that. Just like governors, if a deputy is impeached, the president appoints someone and is approved by parliament. Did the Constitution look at that? And is it going to be allowed? So he doesn't know where the courts stand. About the public participation, there's also an issue of who initiated it. Who initiated it? Remember, BBA was initiated by Ruto and Raila and Uhuru, and court said no. So there's so many legal, there are so legal questions that still remain hanging. There are questions on threshold. The court might look and say the impeachment in parliament is a fraud. The other issue where he's also looking at it complex is the political tension is already polarizing the country, and people are speaking different languages. I wanted to listen to Millie Odhiambo.
As ODM, we did not take any party position on the impeachment of the deputy president. And our brothers and sisters from Mount Kenya told us, musiguze mlima. And we agreed, we were not guzaring mlima. But there is an unwritten rule that we don't guza it if you don't guza Raila Amolo Odinga. Yesterday, I heard my dear friend, Honorable Wambua, attacking Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga over the ongoing war. How Raila comes in, we don't understand, because the only focus of Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga is to get AU chairmanship. Yes. Unless she can tell us if she wanted that position, yes, or whether the deputy president wanted that position. And none of them are shown interest in that position. Yes. And I want to tell our leaders from Central Kenya that time is gone when you would con your own backyards using Raila Amolo Odinga as a scarecrow. That you say that if you do Raila this, Raila that, and you get elected. It is now time to deliver on your mandates for you to be elected. You can see right behind us here, we've done an amazing TTI. If Suba people were to elect me, they'll elect me on my work. Yeah. Not because I have attacked another leader. Yeah. So I want to tell you, focus on your mandate on serving other people.
When he was saying, he was asking MPs from Mount Kenya, stop talking about Raila so that we will leave Mulima alone. We don't want to interfere. By the way, you know, most MPs, they would actually abstain because no one wants to interfere with Mulima. Listen to that speech by Emilio Diabo. So those are the things. You never know how ODM will pick it, how they will take, what will be their position in it. The other thing here is, if Rigathi is impeached, then we have Waiguru, Ndindi Nyoro, Kithure Kindiki. They're seen as the front runners to replace Rigathi. But none of the three will be able to appease Mount Kenya voters. And I want to ask you why. When impeached Rigathi was seen as the man who could take on Ruto head on. And you know, even Kenyans, other Kenyans they have reservations with the Rigathi's conduct. But there is also something that Rigathi brings on the table. Raila Odinga has been consumed by the broad-based government. So he's the person that could face Ruto head on. Kalonzo Musyoka and Jimmy Wanjigi are somewhere in the periphery. Now, Rigathi is reincarnation of someone who can boldly take on the president head on. So the voters will see that Ruto simply wanted people he can remote control. And I think Rigathi have said that many times. Lastly, the country is taking an angle and it's saying, don't impeach Rigathi, all of you should go. So that tells you that probably what the presidents want to achieve by Rigathi impeachment cannot be achieved if members of public don't buy in. That's my take. Why do you think Ruto is avoiding public appearance? He's been in the country since weekend. Never in church service, did not see the reception. Shah is not there. And if you check Facebook page, for the last 4 days, the last post it was made when he was in New York. But he's already back in the country. That is more than what catches the eye. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Let's see how this will roll. It is a very interesting month, and make sure you subscribe to our channel.